Yo boys, how's it going? Today we're going to be taking a look at target markers. This guide is definitely going to help out less experienced tanks than more experienced tanks, but more experienced tanks should get something to take away from this. Before we start, I want to announce that on the 15th of October, we're going to be doing a 16-hour farming event on stream. All of the items and gold farmed in that 16 hours across my various characters are going to be raffled off to players on the server, so I'm really looking forward to that. Come and join us, you might make some easy money, it's going to be a good time. Let's jump in. So the first thing we're going to talk about is establishing a priority and what each marker means and sticking with them. I think consistency with target markers is definitely one of the most important things. If you put a mark up in a raid, it needs to be the same thing and mean the same thing every time. Like if you want a target to be sheeped and you're using the moon and you put a moon up, every mage is going to know that target needs sheeped instantly. But if you put a diamond up, which was your banished target, and you put it on a mob that you want to be sheeped, it's much more confusing for your raid to know what's going on. So I'm going to cycle through my markers, tell you how I like to think about them, and just a little word, you don't need to copy the way I'm doing this. You need the markers to make sense for you. Obviously we're going to talk about what markers I use and how they make sense to me, but you definitely build your own kind of like priority of these. So skull marker, very obvious, kill target. I think that's pretty universal. Cross, I see this as second kill target. 2 swipes for the crosses, that makes sense for me. Triangle, I take as third kill target. Easy way to remember it, 3 points, third kill target. And the same with the square as well. So that's fourth kill target. If there's ever a fourth kill target in your priority, it's got 4 corners, very easy to focus like that. And this can also mean a trap target as well. So this one kind of has 2 meanings. Next, we've got the moon, which I take as first sheep. Star, which will be second sheep. And then after that, we've got the circle and the diamond. Now these markers both have 2 functions, I'd say, for me personally. In Blackwing Lair, when we're on the Dragon Trash, circle and diamond mean sleep targets for the wormkins that do the fireball AoEs on the Dragon Trash. But if we ever need 2 banishes, I will use circle and diamond. I kind of like to think of those as second CC markers. So we've got kill targets, we've got sheeps, and we've got second CC markers there as well. Sometimes if we're doing a Zul'Gurub and we're very mage heavy and we need 3 CCs, for example, I'll use my usual CC targets and then call for a mage to CC the square as well. And that's kind of like how I consistently use my markers, and I feel that works quite well to me. As I said though, do build up your own rotation, get comfortable with a set of markers that makes sense for you and stick with them. The most important thing is to make sure you're trying to be as consistent as possible from raid to raid with your target markers. If the same things are getting marked up the same way each week, the raid can learn a lot faster and will get a lot cleaner at killing certain packs. And it's kind of like their job. Like if something's getting marked up the same thing every week, they know, a player will know that's my job to do that, and they know they're responsible for it, so they're gonna perform a lot better at it. And I think being consistent really is the key to making certain trash packs really clean. Keybinding your target markers is definitely one of the best things you can do in like aiding your use of target markers. I use a Razer Naga mouse, and obviously it's got all the buttons on the side of it. I use literally all of those buttons for target markers. So we've got on the side of that mouse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then I've got most of my consumables bound on like shift modifiers. So I have down here Mighty Rage, Stone Shields, Free Action Potions, Grenades, and Sappers, Oil of Immolation for like AoE tanking and stuff like that on a shift modifier for those buttons. Having those target markers bound to something makes them so easy, especially like if you're doing a speed run or something like that, or just for like the smoothness of the raid. It makes it a lot more enjoyable using them. A lot of people use an add-on that has a bar that comes across. I think it's just called marker bar or target bar or something like that. I'll get a little screen grab on the screen of what that's called. But personally, I try and eliminate clicking anything if possible, because I really don't like it. But using keybinds for your target markers is definitely a nice way to go. The easiest way to do that is obviously just in the key bindings menu here. If you just go to target markers, you can mark everything up there. A nice way to do it, if you don't have a mouse with lots of buttons, or you don't have any spare keybinds to like assign to these markers, is using the F1 and the kind of that line of keys at the top there. If at the very least, if you assign a skull, so you have people focusing on one kill target, that will make a difference. And if you want to then move to an add-on for your kind of pack marking for like your sheeps and your banishes, it's going to be harder and slower for you to react in combat when that's happening. But it won't take too much longer before a fight to get those markers up if you've not got them keybound. But I'd say at the very least, try and get the skull marker bound somewhere close to where your hand is for fighting. I think the F1's not bad. Personally, I much prefer having it on the mouse, but the F1 key's not a bad solution for that at all. Ass pulls are just something that happens in raids sometimes. Hunters' pets just run off and like to make our lives harder, especially in places like Molten Core, where you've got patrols moving around and stuff. Having keybinds ready for your target markers can really help you clean up those situations, especially if you've got a priority solidified for what your markers actually mean. You just need to quickly get up some markers for certain things, like a banish on a surger, cross on a certain mob that comes in so your off-tank knows to pick it up. And with saying very little in your comms and without cluttering the Discord, you can just dictate the fight and everything will go very cleanly. That would be very hard to do if you didn't have target markers. You would have to go, sorry, if you didn't have key binding set up for the target markers. If you had a bar available to click on with the add-on, that would be okay, but key bindings are definitely king in doing things quickly and reactively, so it's another good reason to get key bindings sorted for your raids. That's going to wrap up today's video on target markers. I'm going to be putting out a warrior keybinding guide as well soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Don't forget as well the farming event that we're going to be doing on the 15th of October. I'm going to be farming on my warrior, my hunter, my mage over 16 hours, doing various different farms, trying to make as much gold as possible in that time, and also trying to get as many nice items as we can, and absolutely everything is going to get raffled off. If we get a pair of Edge Masters, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've farmed so hard in my rod and trying to get a pair of Edge Masters. So if we get one during that farm and I have to give it away, that's going to be crazy. But it's going to be good fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So make sure you're there for that. But until next time, boys, keep on blasting.